Let me call Rob. He knows I'm calling. I gave him a heads up.
Hello?
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, we're on live right now. Courtroom Insider. Just would love to hear your reaction today to the verdict.
Well, I thought it made sense.
Yeah.
Um, no, I think like the cases we did up here, the facts really spoke for themselves. And I didn't, as I've told you, I didn't really watch a lot of the trial, but uh, sorry about that. I followed up on listening to it or reading up on it, and yeah, it made sense to me.
Any reaction from you when you saw Lori's non-reaction and the fact that she waived the aggravation part of the verdict?
Um, she had similar non-reaction at her trial in Boise, as I recall. Like she didn't really react very heavily. I think she knew it was coming because she did it.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I wasn't surprised by it.
You said you didn't watch much of the trial. Is that for you were busy? You have no interest in it anymore because your part's done, or you just can't stomach it any longer, or a little bit of all of it.
Busy, a little bit of all of it. Busy. I really don't like listening to her speak. Um, it grates on me. So
I think a
you
lot.
still there?
Yeah, I'm
Oh
here.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel the same way about hearing her speak,
Yeah.
and we definitely heard more from her this trial than we ever have before because she,
Oh
was
yeah.
cross-examining witnesses. All right,
Hmm.
anything you want to add, Rob?
I thought their verdict vindicated what we did, what Lindsay Blake and I did with we introduced a lot of that evidence in our trial as 404B evidence to show that common scheme or plan. And when they when they had their verdict, I just thought, well, that vindicates the decision we made um, to introduce it to tell the whole story, which was easier for us because all of that happened prior to our offenses.
Right. So you were able to bring in more of it from Charles' case and even
Yeah.
Brandon's case, whereas here in Arizona, they seem to strictly stick mainly to the facts around July of 2019 and before.
Right, and with Charles's case especially, where nothing else had happened, no real criminal activity had happened before that. I don't really think they had a choice on that. It's hard enough to bring in prior bad acts. It's almost impossible to bring in just bad acts. So, um, but they did a good job with that. So
One more trial for Brandon Boudreaux. Does it kind of feel like there is an end in sight and kind of like a win for you every time we have? I mean, we're on the third verdict now. Every time we have a new verdict.
um, unfortunately, at least with Chad's case, there's never really an end. Um, but in terms of the trial work, yeah, it's nice. I was kind of surprised at the relief I felt today, even though obviously I'm not doing that Arizona case, but just the relief I had that Charles Vallow got justice through the process down there.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Well, thanks for taking my call. Nice chatting with you.
You bet. Hey, take care.
We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
Madison County Prosecutor Rob Wood there sharing his thoughts about today's verdict. Why don't we give Ray Hermaceio a call with the Rexburg Police? He actually came to the trial for 2 days, day and a half. And he, of course, was one of the original investigators from the beginning in Rexburg. Lieutenant,
Hello.
are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. We're on live right now. Just wanted to get your thoughts about today's verdict.
You know, I'm glad it happened. The family of Charles needed justice, and I think the jury got it right today. So yeah, I'm excited. Another guilty verdict. Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be one more, but today was a good day.
Were you watching?
I was watching. Yeah.
And what did you think of her kind of non-reaction?
That's just, to me, Nate, that's Lori. I mean, we've seen it. I saw it when I testified in Idaho at her trial. She kind of had the the no reaction. She'd put her head down like it was no big deal. So to me, that's just normal behavior for Lori. So I'm used to seeing that.
Yeah. Did it feel, I mean, I just asked Rob Wood this, but did it feel kind of like another win, that we've talked about these trials for nearly 6 years now, and when it actually happens and there's a guilty verdict, does it feel like all that work paid off?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been doing this since 2019. And even though it wasn't our case in chief today, I mean, it's part of our case up here. And so yeah, I mean, that's all part of it. I'm excited for those guys, for Arizona, for the victims, their families. It's a good day today.
Okay. Anything you want to add?
No, I hope, there's one more. I hope that kind of gets put to rest and we can put this whole thing behind us and move on. I think that's time. It's been a long time.
Yeah. All right, Lieutenant, nice talking with you. Well, maybe we'll see you in Arizona in a few weeks at the next one.
Sounds good. Thanks, Nate.
See ya. Bye-bye. Lieutenant Hermosillo, Rexburg Police Department. If you missed our interviews with him, I interviewed him at the beginning of the trial, this one before it started. You can go back and watch that on our YouTube channel. He knows this case inside and out, upwards and backwards and up and down, every single part of it from the beginning. Well, I guess not from when Charles was shot, just a few months after, though, when the police here in Arizona contacted police in eastern Idaho and said, "We're looking for a Jeep. Do you know where this Jeep is?" And Ray Hermaceio got his eyes on it, and that started this whole series of events. At least, not, I guess this stuff started in July of 2019 for Charles, but that's when it really picked up. Let's bring in Rachel Smith. She's a special prosecutor on the first cases. We've interviewed her before. I'm sure she was watching. She's in Missouri. It's kind of late. 10 o'clock. Wait, 9 o'clock?
Hello.
Rachel, hi. We're on live. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I was just saying, is it 9 o'clock there?
It is at night. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock here.
Okay. Hopefully it's not too late for you. I just wanted to get your thoughts. What'd you think of the verdict today?
I was extremely happy for the people in Arizona. Charles, there was a lot of focus, understandably, on the children and on Tammy. That case went first because Idaho, had the person of Lori, and so it was, at times I worried that Charles and then eventually Brandon got lost in the attention. But today was really an exciting and important day for Charles's family, for the law enforcement and the victims. And it's a long day, a long time in coming for that entire team. And for the team in Idaho, because those guys, especially the law enforcement guys and Rob and Lindsay's office and those of us on their teams, worked so long so hard for justice for everybody. And Charles was always on our mind. So I think kudos to Maricopa for getting it done. And, here's hoping that Brandon gets his day in court and gets to be heard.
Speaking of Brandon, I just barely got a statement from him that I'll read in a moment, talking about Charles and about a lot of the religious stuff that came into play here in this trial. I got to ask Rachel, I was sitting next to an AP reporter who's been in the courtroom while we waited for the verdict. He's reported for 33 years. He's covered hundreds of trials. He's their crime reporter. I mean, the biggest cases, he's been there. And I asked him, do you still get a buzz? That was my word off of it. He said, oh yeah, every single verdict. I still get nervous. He said, even scared in a way, like an adrenaline rush. It's gotta be that way for a prosecutor, I would think, especially in a case like this that's been years, and then you have all of the media exposure. What are the feelings like for a prosecutor seconds before that verdict is read?
It is terrifying and humbling, and it is, the case isn't about you, but there's such pressure to not fail for the victims, for the family, for law enforcement. It's the worst part of trying cases. So it's a huge, humbling responsibility. And I often will sit there and I'll put my head down and write, and it looks like I'm taking notes. I'm really just doing it so I don't like shake.
Hmm. But then if a verdict comes back in your favor 10, 20 seconds later, that's got to be the
Yep.
best feeling in the world.
Well, it's a little yes, but I always have a delayed reaction. It's just a little like letting it sit in, being very thankful. I always think I'm a person of faith. I always thank God, because in the end, it's not about the prosecution. It's not about the law enforcement. It never should be about the judge or even the jurors. It really needs to be about the person whose life was taken. And it's for me, I kind of pause and have to think about it. And then it's very happy and absolutely, but it's to me and many of the people I've been fortunate enough to practice with, is really humbling.
Yeah. All right, Rachel, anything that you want to add?
No, I'm very grateful, and you've done a great job covering this and making sure the public can understand. So kudos to you for hanging in there, and congratulations for following this through and putting the victims first. You're an example for people.
Oh, you're very kind. And I have to say that Rachel has been a big help with legal stuff. Even today, trying to figure out this aggravating part of the verdict, which I've never seen before. It's kind of unique to Arizona, from what I understand. A lot of people say you hold that till sentencing, when you would present that at sentencing. But another twist today. So we got through that. And I imagine we'll be speaking again very soon, Rachel.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank
Get some
you.
sleep.
Have a good night. We'll see you. Bye.